good guy, good fighter, and he has all the qualities.
What does it take to be pound for pound king?
Duck.
He's a Inoue. He's
The one with the color hair?
No, he is good.
21-0, undefeated. He's a 3-division champion. He's a big puncher. He was champion 112.
Man, I'm a puncher. He is good.
Who's that?
Inoue. He's Japanese.
His placements and everything.
Footwork,
Yeah.
defense.
Who can take advantage of that attitude, of that style, and what it presents as far as opportunities when you're as technical as Inoue is in placing punches in the and hard punches in such an accurate way.
Okay, so nobody is supposed to be talking about this right now, but since you clicked, you need to buckle up. Because what we are about to unpack is the kind of story that boxing insiders have allegedly been whispering about behind closed doors for months, and the moment I connected all the dots, I genuinely could not sleep. We are talking about Naoya Inoue, the monster, the man who is reportedly sitting at the very top of pound-for-pound boxing rankings, the fighter that Sugar Ray Leonard himself. Sugar Ray Leonard.
Pound for pound king now, Crawford or Inoue, after the fights that we have seen recently. It's been some good ones.
How can you not say yes? But you know, they all are nice. They all are very, let's say, experienced. Put it this way, I like what I see.
Has allegedly been praising in private conversations as one of the most technically gifted athletes he has ever witnessed. And before you say, okay, calm down, it's just boxing, let me stop you right there, because this is not just about boxing. This is about power, about territory, about a quiet Japanese superstar who fans online are now speculating might actually be the most strategically underexposed superstar in the entire history of combat sports.
You go, oh, well, if you got dropped in your career, you're not as good as Floyd ever was. Like, I hate that kind of stuff, because Floyd also wasn't out here TKOing and KOing late into his career like I assume that Inoue is going to do, or that the more aggressive fighters will do, right? And again, nothing against Floyd. He's one of, if not the greatest boxer ever. All I'm saying is, being dropped in this fight doesn't take away from the pound for pound talks for me. Like, people are going to say, oh, well, Bud never got dropped in his career. Like, okay, that doesn't really take anything away from what I think the special thing that Inoue is doing here and why I believe he deserves to be in that pound for pound conversation. He may not be number one. He may not be number two. Depending on where you place him, I still think the heavier weight classes do, no pun intended, weigh a little more, just because the natural population of the world is that size. So you're going to get more people that are probably a little bit more skilled based on the numbers of people that walk around at that weight, that participate in the sport, that become high level at the sport, just numbers game. But it does not take away from what Inoue's doing.
And here is where it starts getting suspicious. Inoue is 21 wins, 0 losses, multiple division champion, and somehow, a significant portion of casual American sports fans allegedly cannot even pick his face out of a lineup, and reports suggest that is not an accident. So
it was Donaire. So Donaire was giving him fits in the first fight, and if I'm not mistaken, Donaire was somewhere close to 40 or 40 years old when he fought him the first time. Whereas he was in his 20s and knocked him out in the first fight, fighting a guy, like I said before, at that age. What I need Inoue to do is, I need him to come fight in the U.S., random blood, urine testing. I think he's a hell of a fighter. A hell of a fighter. I won't take nothing away from him. Hell of a fighter. And I like him because I see he take a lot of my stuff from my...
Stay with me, because we are just getting started, and I promise you by the end of this video, you are going to question everything you thought you knew about how boxing stardom actually works.
Going towards like a Pacquiao, I don't know if he can go that many weight classes. There is a limit to your body structure, to your skeleton, to your, the size that you can properly handle that extra weight and still be efficient and effective in this game. There is a limit. Another great fight, he didn't do as many, but Lomachenko, and you saw, he won 3 different weight classes, and then you saw a limit to how far up he could go, I think. And then Crawford.
Now allegedly Floyd Mayweather, the man who turned boxing into a global entertainment empire, has reportedly gone on record calling Inoue a hell of a fighter. Which sounds like a compliment until you realize that Floyd also allegedly suggested Inoue needs to come fight in America to truly prove himself on the world stage.
You know, just the athleticism of the explosiveness, the speed, the hand-eye coordination, everything that comes with Inoue, man. You know, it just was too much. Just too much. You know, I told you, you know, I was a great athlete. However, Manny Pacquiao was a better athlete. I told you, Crawford is a fantastic athlete. He's a better athlete than Canelo. I told you that was going to be the difference too. You know, same thing here. You know, as Inoue travels up divisions, right? He's going to meet that athlete that's going to be just as athletic as him. Right now, off the top of my head, I don't know who that guy is, right? But that's when the size is going to become a factor for him. You know, I remember saying this about Lomachenko years ago, you know, and everybody was just like, man, you hating it.
And fans are absolutely losing it over this because on one hand, you have the greatest self-promoter in boxing history essentially handing Inoue a roadmap to global domination. And on the other hand, some online communities are speculating that this is actually a calculated power move designed to pull
compare him to everybody in the fight game.
No, I think he's definitely up there pound for pound. I mean, he's super explosive. He's stopping everybody.
Yeah.
You know, he's a little bit less of a presence here in the United States, so it's like hard to really follow him and like become like a huge fan. But no, definitely rate him. He's a great fighter.
You feel like he has to come here to the States?
I mean, this is like, he's obviously doing a great job in Japan, right? He doesn't necessarily need to. He's making the money. He's gonna, you know, he's doing what he's got to do. Yeah. But like, there's a difference. I think there's something special about making it in the United States. Like, it's a little bit more difficult. It's a harder market. So it's a challenge. Yeah. It's a challenge. If you really made it, you've made it in the United States.
And you've had 2 fights in England?
I've had 2 years of fighting in England.
2 years of fighting.
Yeah, I'm done with that.
So, you done? You done?
Well, you know, unless I have to down the line, but for now, yeah, back in America.
How was that experience opposed to fighting here in the States, though?
You know, I really liked it. The UK audience really took well.
Inoue into a commercial ecosystem that has historically been very, very selective about which international fighters it decides to make into superstars. And wait. Breaking update, because apparently the pound-for-pound debate just got louder this week with Timothy Bradley, who, let's be honest, pulls absolutely 0 punches, allegedly going on record saying Inoue is not just top 5, not just top 3, but the #1 pound-for-pound fighter on the planet.
Defensively safer, make sure I win this fight, which, of course, dude, somebody like me would try that, you know what I mean? Like, I'll be honest with you, yeah, it was tough, but, you know, I was looking for, you know, the less contact approach, right? Inoue looked for more contact after getting dropped, and this is what makes him fun. He gets up, he starts to establish that power jab first and foremost, but then he starts, you know, coming forward, starts walking Cardenas down, pushing him back on the jab. I thought the issue Cardenas had was he wasn't jabbing with Inoue. You don't want to hook with the hooker, even though Cardenas' hook is a very good left hook in and of itself. You don't want to hook with the hooker, but even though Cardenas was trying to hold tight and whip left hooks in there, but you got to at least jab with the jab, because once Inoue made that adjustment, started power jabbing, it was almost like it was an imbalance there. Now Inoue's jab was starting to work in overdrive, and nothing was coming back on the jab side, from the straight punches side from Cardenas, and those jabs were busting up Cardenas and moving him back, and it allowed Inoue to start walking him down. And what happens when you got him on the back foot? Now you can start putting some combinations behind the jab.
Right now. And the moment Bradley said that, the entire boxing internet allegedly divided itself into 2 very loud, very passionate camps overnight. And I need you to understand that this divide is allegedly about way more than just rankings, because some analysts are suggesting the real debate is actually about whether American boxing media is psychologically capable of crowning a Japanese champion.
Especially with the fact that Inoue is not as devastating to the head at these higher weight classes, you got to sort of soften up the opponent. Once he wasn't doing that early on. I think that's why Cardenas, who took a couple of shots and was like, all right, you know what, I can take this guy's shots. I'm going to trade with this guy, and he ended up doing well. But once Inoue was able to back up Cardenas, and he used that jab to back up. That was the first adjustment, starting to use that pump power jab. Second adjustment is now once you're backing off, start throwing those combinations and using those combinations to get to the body. And then when he started going to the body, he started softening Cardenas up. And once Cardenas was softened up, then those headshots do start to take effect. They start to take more effect on you, because now you're getting hit and you're feeling everything a little bit more. You're slowing down. You're not able to resist as much as far as punch resistance, and you're also not able to throw back as much. Cardenas didn't have a high output. He was trying to sort of save his energy and put everything into one big shot a few times, and which also kills energy. So I guess I'm assuming that that's probably why he didn't have a big output. He was probably trying to.
As the undisputed face of the sport, and I know that sounds dramatic, but we are talking about a fighter whose explosiveness, speed, and mid-fight adaptability analysts have reportedly compared to a young Manny Pacquiao. And speaking of Pacquiao, and this is where it gets genuinely wild, sources suggest that the Pacquiao comparison is not just a compliment, it is allegedly a warning. Because we watched
Cardenas' speed in the first place. The left hook from Cardenas in particular, he was firing out with rapid pace. And what we saw was, in this round, Inoue had him backed up, he threw his own shot, he left his hands low, and Cardenas dipped down. Inoue had his lead hand low, his right hand was low, and what he did was Cardenas, he kept his head low in the pocket, and he just dipped his left hand over the top and hit Inoue clean on the chin and knocked Inoue down. And it was a really, really good shot. Inoue took it clean on the chin, and Inoue's obviously got a good chin. Only the second time, I believe, in his career that he's actually been down Inoue. And he got up, and Cardenas tried to stick it on him, but Inoue survived the round, and we continued from there. And then again in round 3, I felt that Cardenas came out very, very strong, counter-punching really well. Inoue had the greater volume most of the rounds, but Cardenas landing the cleaner work in that round 3 in particular. Now, I'll pull up my scorecard so you can see how I had it at the time of the stoppage. So Inoue round 1, Cardenas had the knockdown in 2. Round 3 was Cardenas, then 4 Inoue. I had 5 Cardenas, 6 Inoue, and then 6 Inoue was really starting to hurt Cardenas, I felt. He was landing some good counter shots.
Watched Manny climb weight class after weight class. We watched the world fall in love with him. And then we watched the physical demands of that journey reportedly catch up with him in ways nobody publicly predicted. And insiders are allegedly whispering the same cautionary math about Inoue's trajectory right now, suggesting that while his ceiling appears unlimited,
box, they get beaten up, but they're still in there. Inoue's got it, but he's also brilliant. There's nothing this guy doesn't have. He's got the chin, he's got the gas tank, he's got the boxing IQ, he's got the power. He puts himself in there in dangerous situations. He's entertaining. There's nothing not to love about this guy. He's absolutely exceptional. And I think in contrast to everything else we saw this weekend, it just felt like an incredible viewing experience watching him in there tonight. And before I move on, I have to say credit to Cardenas, because like I said before, the guy went in there, he gave it a proper go. He properly challenged himself. And he went out like a warrior, but that guy will get more fights because of that. And full props to him, because he helped to make the spectacle that it was. And I'm sure Inoue will be grateful for the fight Cardenas made it too. He pushed Inoue all the way, he gave himself a genuine chance of winning those belts. And you can give Cardenas nothing but praise. And at the end of the day, all it was that Inoue was just a bit better than him. You know, there's nothing else to say about it really. And I think I'd happily see a rematch, not because I think Cardenas wins it, but because it was so damn entertaining. So when you do that, all I'm saying is when you're Cardenas, you set yourself up for future opportunities by going in there.
The question of what happens when he eventually faces an opponent at a weight class where the physical gap starts closing is a conversation that his promotional team allegedly does not love having in public. And you won't believe what one analyst reportedly said off camera about this. They allegedly called it the ticking clock nobody wants to put on television. Which, I mean, if that is not a headline, I do not know what is. But back to the ring. Because here is the part that honestly made my jaw drop when I first read the breakdowns. Because apparently what makes Inoue uniquely terrifying, according to multiple fight analysts, is not just his power or his precision. It is allegedly his psychological response to being hurt.
It's him, Usyk, Crawford. Everyone probably has Usyk #1 now. But it does seem like every time one of those guys fights, they kind of leapfrog the others just momentarily, you know, while we're prisoners of the moment. I love watching him fight. I'm excited to watch him fight.
Yeah, but there'll be no jump for Inoue this time.
Well, yes.
Minus 5,000, even if he knocks the guy out in the first minute, the first round, there's no jump. What I do respect for Inoue is that at least he's still fighting. I mean, he's had a couple of cancellations against Sam Goodman, and he could easily say, you know, I'm not fighting, let's just move on and we'll fight someone big in America or in Saudi Arabia, obviously heavily linked to be on a Riyadh season card, but he still wants to stay active. Thing now is, though, we now want to see some super fights, because there are super fight opponents out there. Nakatani's one that everyone's been screaming about, let that fight happen, right? Whether it be in Japan or, again, in Saudi Arabia or the US.
And reports suggest that when most fighters get dropped or rocked, their survival instinct kicks in and they become more conservative. They clinch, they move, they survive. But allegedly, Inoue does the exact opposite. He reportedly becomes more aggressive, more calculated, and more dangerous the moment he senses that his opponent thinks they have hurt him. And fans online are speculating that this is either the most elite ring IQ in modern boxing, or evidence of a competitive fire that is reportedly so intense it occasionally crosses into territory that even his own corner allegedly finds difficult to manage.
Nonito's kind of run year, but I've talked to Nonito and I don't think he's anywhere near done. He's still a monster. He's still with the shits. And of course, he's a legend in the sport. But I heard the same things when Stephen Fulton came over. And people were talking about Stephen Fulton was going to take him down. And Inoue washed him in 8 rounds as well. He's not just winning fights. He's winning by stoppage. He's TKOing fools. He's knocking them dead. And this is just another example of that with Luis Nery. It's like you have a guy that's this dominant, again, across 3 weight classes now, and undisputed at 2 of those weight classes. It starts to become like, what else can he do? And people want him to move up, but let's be honest, he started his career at what, 108 pounds? Now sitting at 122, he's 31 years old. If you talk about super fights that are out there, you think about everyone wants.
And now here is the twist that nobody in mainstream boxing media is apparently talking about. Because if you look at the analytical breakdowns of his recent fights, reports suggest Inoue has been quietly evolving his jab usage and body attack strategy mid-fight in real time, essentially problem-solving live on pay-per-view in ways that most fighters spend entire training camps trying to install. And some coaches who have allegedly studied his footage privately describe his in-fight adjustments as closer to a chess grandmaster recalibrating mid-game than anything resembling a conventional boxing match.
Like Michaela said, is one of the most explosive fighters. I think Gervonta comes to mind too, but I think maybe the most explosive fighter in boxing. You think?
Yeah, no, definitely up there, yeah, for sure. I just want to see him against people that we know.
Yes. In the
you know, like we can really compare. I think that's a lot of like a problem right now with boxing is like you don't. I mean, you're getting it with the women, obviously, but not so much with the men when it comes to like what an equal level playing field for these fighters. Like there's always one person that is way ahead when it comes to like the stats, you know, like who's gonna win the fight. Like everyone kind of knows who's gonna win the fight.
At the betting odds.
Yeah, the betting odds. That's what I meant.
Is there plans to bring him to America? Anybody?
Yeah, his next fight is in America.
Yeah. His next fight?
Yeah, that's what Top
Thank
Rank
God.
said.
All
They
right.
confirmed it. And you know, the Americans, Angelo Leo, Bruce Carrington, they have to help.
Which raises the allegedly controversial question that certain boxing insiders are reportedly afraid to ask publicly. If Inoue is already this dominant at the weights he has campaigned at, what allegedly happens if he decides to move up aggressively? And is the boxing establishment as a business actually prepared for that level of disruption? Because based on online speculation, the answer might reportedly be a very complicated and very interesting no. And breaking, because I just need to pause here for a second. Because apparently social media is currently going absolutely nuclear over a resurfaced clip of a major analyst allegedly ranking Inoue above Terence Crawford in a private roundtable discussion that was reportedly never meant to go public, and Crawford fans are reportedly in full mobilization mode right now. And Inoue fans are allegedly treating this as confirmation of everything they have been saying for 2 years. And this clash of fan bases is reportedly already being called one of the most heated pound-for-pound debates since the Pacquiao era. And I want you to remember that detail because it becomes very relevant in about 30 seconds. Because here's what fans are allegedly missing in this entire conversation. Here is the thread that allegedly connects Sugar Ray's praise, Mayweather's American Arena comments, Bradley's #1 ranking, and the Crawford debate into one single narrative. Reports suggest that Inoue's promotional situation, his relative invisibility in the American commercial landscape, despite being arguably the most dominant active fighter on earth, may allegedly be less about geography and more about a broader structural conversation in boxing about which fighters get the promotional machinery, the primetime slots, and the mainstream celebrity crossover moments that turn a great champion into a household name. And some analysts are reportedly suggesting that Inoue's career trajectory is essentially a real-time case study in how global sporting excellence and commercial stardom have allegedly become 2 completely separate games operating on completely separate scoreboards. And the fact that a man with a perfect record, multi-division gold, and the endorsement of arguably the 2 greatest fighters of the modern era is still allegedly having to be discovered by casual fans in 2025 is, according to online speculation, either the most fascinating marketing mystery in sports or allegedly the most revealing thing about the boxing industry's commercial priorities that nobody wants to say out loud on a main stage. And now, the twist that allegedly changes everything. Because reports suggest that behind the scenes conversations are apparently already happening about a potential Inoue-US mega fight that would be positioned as the moment the monster officially introduces himself to the American mainstream. and fans are speculating that the names being floated in these alleged discussions would genuinely break the internet if confirmed. But here's the part that reportedly nobody is saying publicly. Some insiders are allegedly suggesting that the fight the sport actually needs and the fight that reportedly certain commercial interests allegedly want are two very different matchups, which means the question you should allegedly be asking is not whether Naoya Inoue is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world right now, because based on everything reportedly swirling in boxing circles, the answer to that is allegedly yes. The real question, the one that fans are now debating furiously in comment sections worldwide, is this. In a sport where greatness and visibility are reportedly two completely different currencies, is being undeniably the best allegedly enough? Or does the monster still have to play a game that has allegedly very little to do with what happens inside the ropes? Drop your answer below, because this conversation is apparently just getting started.